Hi there, my name is Jessica and today I'm going to be doing two draw-alongs with you. I have one for Chinese New Year or Lunar New Year with an ox having some tea, and then I have one for Valentine's Day of Cupid. For these draw-alongs you're going to need some paper, you're going to need a sharpener and an eraser just in case you need those. You're going to need a pencil or whatever it is that you want to draw with. I recommend pencil because we're going to have lines that we don't need, so you'll have to be able to erase them. And just in case you make a mistake, it's easier to draw in pencil. I also have a marker here because later on I'm going to go over my lines with the marker. And then if you want to color in your drawings later, you're going to need something to color them in with. I picked crayons, but you can use markers, colored pencils, whatever you want. So I'm going to start off with the Chinese New Year ox. I think you're better off holding your paper up and down vertically, but I'm going to hold mine sideways, horizontally, just so you can see what I'm doing better. So you're going to start with a circle for the ox's head. And remember to draw lightly because you're going to erase some of these lines later, and if you make a mistake, then you can erase it more easily. Then you're going to put an oval on its side down here by the bottom of the circle. And that's because this is the ox's head. So this is his snout. Then you're going to start shaping the head a little bit. And instead of having a complete circle, you're going to make it a little more square. Just a little bit on these two sides. Then we can draw his nostrils and then his mouth. So at this point we can erase any piece of the head that shows through the snout like that, and any leftover circle bits that we don't need. Because remember, we want the head to be ever so slightly cornered off. Next, I'm going to give him a little hat. So I'm going to make a curve up here, like it's sitting on his head. And then I'm going to make a big U shape. So we don't need this line anymore. We don't want to see his head through the hat. And we can decorate the hat. I'm going to put a little ball on top. And I'm going to put another curve here. And then I'm going to put two curves coming down from the ball to this line here. Next, I'm going to put his horns on. So on this side, I'm going to come up with a curve and then down with a curve. And I'm just going to fix that curve a little bit. Your work doesn't have to be perfect. That's what erasers are for. You can always fix it to how you want it later. And then I'm going to make a smaller curve on the other side, just because his head is turned away a little bit. And then fix that. I guess I should put his eyes on, right? So I'm going to make two standing up ovals, just like that. And then I'm going to add his ears. So I'm going to put a curve coming out this way and a curve coming back in. So that's one ear. And again, on the other side, it's going to be a little bit smaller because his head is turned away. So when things are further back, they appear a little bit smaller. And then inside his ear, I'm just going to add a little more detail. Two little loops like that. Then I'm going to start giving him a body. So coming out on the left, I'm going to drop a little curve down. And that's going to be one of his arms and sleeves. And then on the other side, I'm going to make a curve going up about the same length, and that's going to be his other arm and sleeve. So coming back to this one over here on the left, I'm going to make a curve, a smaller one, going in the opposite direction, and then I'm going to bring it up. So there's one sleeve. Then I'm going to come up here a little ways from his snout and drop a curve down. And this is going to be his body and his shirt. So I'm going to make another curve in the other direction. And then I'm going to connect it to the sleeve. Then going back up to this arm up here, again, we're going to make a curve and connect it to the body. Now let's decorate his shirt. So I'm going to start by, just like his hat, putting a curve at the bottom and curves on the sleeves. Then I'm going to make 6 dots on his chest, 3 on this side and 3 on this side in pairs. So 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to connect them with 2 lines. Just like that. And then I'm going to drop a line down the middle, but I don't want to go through the decoration. I'm going to go behind it because his jacket is closed by a piece of string going between these little decorations here. So the opening to the jacket is behind them. So next I'm going to draw 2 little lines coming out of his sleeve, very tiny. And then I'm going to make like a trapezoid shape, like this, for one hoof. And then I'm going to do the same up here. Just like that. And I'm going to put a teacup in his hand because he's toasting to the new year. So I'm going to start a little ways above the hoof, and I'm going to draw an oval on its side, and then I'm going to make a U shape, but we want it to go in back of the hoof so that it looks like he's holding on to it. And then we could just put some squiggles for steam coming out of the hot teacup. I'm just moving him up a little bit so you can see his legs now. So you're going to start on the left and bring a curve in and then down. So more like a curve and a line. And then you're going to draw the very bottom of his belly here. So a little curve. And then from that curve, you're going to make the other side of his leg the same way you made the first side. And then going all the way to the right, you're going to draw another curve. And then coming out from here, another curve. And then drop down 2 lines. I think I'm actually going to make these a little bit shorter. And then you're going to draw the little trapezoid shapes. So if you don't know what a trapezoid is, one way to draw a trapezoid is by making a line and then having 2 angled lines coming out of it and then closing it off again with another line. And then we want to add his tail. So coming out from the back here, you can just make a little squiggle and another little squiggle underneath of it. And then you can kind of draw a teardrop shape for his tail. And there we have it. There's Mr. Ox, and he is ready to toast the new year. From here, you can color him in, or you could use a marker and go over your lines to make them stand out more, and then you can color him. Or if you like him just like this, you can leave him like this. Now we're going to draw Cupid, and same thing. I think you're probably better off holding your paper up and down, but I'm going to use mine horizontally just so you can see better. So we're going to start with a circle again, and the same rules apply. Draw lightly so that you can fix mistakes and erase lines that you need to erase. Then I'm going to drop a tiny line down on the left, curve in like this for a little chin, because this is Cupid's head, and then come up again back into the circle. And we don't need the line in the middle anymore. Now we have the shape of Cupid's head. Next, I'm going to give him a little neck because he's kind of tiny and cute, so it's not going to be totally realistic. Just like our oxen don't stand up like this. Then I'm going to start making little shoulders for this guy. I'm going to make a curve coming out of those shoulders. And I'm going to kind of curve it up almost as if I'm going to start making a circle. And then I'm going to curve it into the shoulder on the other side. And this is his little body. Just going to move him up a little so you can see better. Then I'm going to start making his legs. So I'm kind of going to draw an oval shape coming out from his hip over here. And we're not going to need this line anymore. And then that's only the top of his leg, that's his thigh. So I'm going to draw the calf next. And same thing, kind of like an oval shape. And then I don't need this line, and you really don't need to connect it because that's his knee. To make his foot, it's almost like that trapezoid shape again, but a little longer on one side than the other. So you can come down from his ankle on both sides. So this one's a little angled and this one's angled but longer. And then come across the bottom. And that's a basic foot shape. And then from there you can start making like a heel just by curving that. You can even give him a little arch if you erase there and kind of come up a little bit. And then you can give him some toes. You won't be able to see all of them though, because his foot is from the side. Then we're going to draw the other leg. So remember, it's kind of behind him at this point. So we're going to start over here, and then you could draw over it and then erase it. Let's do that. You're going to make another oval shape. And then, like I said, you don't need to see the leg behind. And then I'm going to bend his other leg upward. So that same oval shape, but a little smaller. The same kind of oval shape you made over here. And then I'm just gonna cut off that oval from the bottom here. And then you can make that same trapezoid shape. And then start to edit it. So a rounded heel, an arch. You can erase this line, and then give him little toes. Again, you won't see all of them because it's from the side. Okay, so while we're at it, let's give him a diaper. Cupid's usually a baby, or usually wearing a diaper. So I'm gonna put a curve up here. And then there's lots of different ways you can draw diapers. Let's see. Let's put the little fasteners over here. So like a rectangle coming in from the side. And remember, he's turned. So we're gonna put an even smaller one on the other side. Just like that. For his arms, we're going to make little oval shapes again so that we know where we want to put them. So coming out of his shoulder, I'm going to make a little oval shape. And then I'm going to make another oval shape. So this is the top of his arm, and this is the bottom of his arm. And then we don't need the lines in between, so I'm going to erase that now. Just going to fix that up a little bit. And then I'm going to give him a fist. So the way I'm going to give him a fist is I'm just going to start with a circle, and then you can make some ridges. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then come back around. And then erase what you don't need. And I'm going to give him some ridges here too. And that's because when you make a fist, right, you have 4 ridges here for your fingers. And then I'm going to give him an arrow because Cupid usually has a bow and arrow or something like that. So I'm going to draw 2 lines, and I'm going to make sure they come out the bottom as well. You could draw right through like this just to make sure they're straight. And then, of course, erase what you don't need in the middle. Then on top, we're going to put a little triangle for the arrow. And then on the bottom, you're going to start making triangles, but you're not going to finish them with the bottom. You're just going to keep coming out like that. Then I'm going to draw the other arm. Again, an oval shape, and you can even erase some of this now. You don't need it, and you can start to shape his body a little bit, put in a couple details, and then another oval shape. And again, we don't need all those lines. And then I'm going to draw another fist on this side. So again, you want to make a circle, but this fist is going the other direction. It looks like this. So what you can do is you can make 1, 2, 3, 4 fingers and put the little thumb on top like that. And then in his fist, I'm going to put a heart decoration. So you can start drawing the heart, and you just want to make sure it goes inside of his fist. that, and then the rest of it so that it's three-dimensional. I know Cupid's a little bit harder than the ox, but I think you guys can handle it, right? And I'm sure you have an adult in your life who would like to help you or maybe draw this themselves. All this time I never gave Cupid a face. How silly of me. So I'm going to make a curve like this and then come to a point on the other side. And I'm going to do another one over here, a curve, and then come to a point. And then I'm going to give him 2 circles inside. And we can give him a pupil too. Then I'm going to give him a tiny nose, a smile, and we can give him some red cheeks. When we color those in, they could be red or pink. Just give him 2 little eyebrows. And then over here I'll put an ear. So you're going to make a curve like this. It's kind of like a C, but backwards. And then I'm going to give him some curly hair. So I'm going to start over here and just do a swirl. And I'm going to go across and make some more swirls. And when I get to here, I'll just give him a tiny little sideburn like that. And I'm going to give him another little curl on top, and maybe a curl over here, and a curl over here. And I think I'll come down like that. And then we don't need this line here anymore. You don't want to see his head through his hair. And last but not least, I'm going to give him some wings. So I'm going to come out the back here. Another curve. We've been doing a lot of curves today, curves and lines. That's really what all drawing is. And then I'm going to curve it back down. And I'm going to make a smaller one on the other side. Again, because he's turning. So this side is really not in our view as much. And you could leave it like this, or you can give him some feathers. So once you have that basic shape of the wing, if you put all these other curves in, you can have some feather wings. And there you go. Now you have Cupid and you have the ox. And like I said, you can leave them as they are, you can color them in, or you could go over them with a Sharpie or some kind of marker first and then color them in, just to make them stand out a little more. I hope you guys had fun drawing along with me. I wish we could be together in person, but for now, you have me on virtual and you can play me again and again. Bye, see you next time, and happy Lunar New Year and happy Valentine's Day.